WrestleMania season is officially among us. We are 5 days away from WrestleMania Night 1, and let's talk about my predictions. This video is dedicated to my thoughts on what I've been thinking about the build up, the results, everything involved in WrestleMania Night 1. But before I do so, if you aren't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. You see in this video, make sure you like, make sure you leave your feedback, comment at somebody, or share it with somebody who hasn't seen it or isn't aware of my actual YouTube channel. That'll do me a great deal, and I appreciate it greatly. But let's get into these actual predictions, man. Let me pull this up real quick because the first hour of WrestleMania Night 1 is going to be on ESPN2. So not only are you going to have our usuals, the IWC, the regulars, those that are going to be in attendance, but at home, we're going to see a lot of casuals, a lot of people who probably only watch pay-per-views or probably don't watch it at all, but they just flick it through ESPN and they're going to see two matches. It's just Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre and the six-man tag match between the Usos, LA Knight, the Vision, and ISHO Speed. So let's talk about Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Now, we know that this build has been going on since Jacob came back and assisted Drew McIntyre in winning the Undisputed Championship. But then right after that, not right after, but he also assisted in making sure that Drew lost the title, or I guess not retained, because he stopped Drew from using the chair in his match against Cody Rhodes. But I'll say, per this build, it has been. I wouldn't call it the best, but I'm definitely not calling it the worst. I'll give it maybe a 6 or a 7 when it comes to this build. And if we go based off of what they did last week on SmackDown, with Drew having Jacob in the handcuffs and leaving him hanging on the post, and it just gave us a small sample of what we're going to see during this match, because this is an unsanctioned match. So one thing that they need to do, one, because it is on ESPN2, is go all out. It's not like we're going to sugarcoat it because it's on ESPN, because they show UFC fights sometimes. So blood is not going to be an issue. Well, it shouldn't be. But at the same time, I feel like they're not going to get too crazy, but at the same time, they have to. Because if you're trying to bring in more fans, you got to do something. You have to go crazy. You gotta get them more invested than just WrestleMania. And I feel like starting this match off with Drew McIntyre and Jacob, with the beef that they have going on, I feel like it's a perfect start. Unless they start with Speed and the Usos, but who knows? But I think that Jacob and Drew have to go all out. They have to pull out tables, kendo sticks, shoot, maybe even some thumbtacks. I don't know, but we all know they're going to be out in the crowd. They're going to go a little crazy, because you got to put on for us and the casuals. Make sure you could possibly make the casuals, regulars. You just never know what can happen with this being on ESPN2. However, I'm giving this match to Jacob Fatu. Maybe they could set up Jacob Fatu in a match moving forward and showing him in the actual main title picture, because we haven't really seen him in that picture as of yet. Next match we're going to discuss is the Usos, LA Knight versus the Vision and ISHO Speed. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the most viewed matches on the entire card because of ISHO Speed and his global presence. This man is popular everywhere. So obviously he's going to promote it on his stream, which he already is. Logan Paul is another global figure who's also going to be promoting this. And again, this is on ESPN2. So you're going to get his casual viewers or his loyal viewers, both of their loyal viewers, as well as your wrestling community, the wrestling fans as a whole, and then casual people that's just on ESPN too. So my thing with this match, I feel like it could go either way. Any team can go. Any team could win. But it's like if you think about the Usos and LA Knight, they aren't friends. Well, they were, but then it was like some friction when the Usos started helping out Roman Reigns. So they kind of made LA Knight side eye him. And I Show Speed has really been claiming his innocence, but the Vision has basically been forcing him to be a part of this. So my thing is, who's turning? Is LA Knight going to turn on the Usos, or the Usos going to turn on LA Knight? Or is I Show Speed going to turn on the Vision? Or this is what I really think is going to happen. I truly think I Show Speed is going to be forced. Not forced, but they're going to tell I Show Speed to hit maybe a LA Knight or maybe Jimmy or Jay with brass knuckles, and they duck out of the way. Logan Paul gets hit with the brass knuckles, and that's how the Usos and LA Knight beats the Vision versus I Show Speed. I don't see it being any other way but the same way we're going in. I Show Speed hit LA Knight by accident, and he's been claiming that he really didn't want to be a part of this. So I feel like it's going to be the same way to go out, because I don't see I Show Speed getting pinned. I don't see y'all having I Show Speed take a L. But again, anything is possible. But this way you still protect Speed, because he basically gave out the knockout punch. And also you're protecting everybody else. Logan Paul gets knocked out, because I think that's what it's going to be. Logan Paul gets knocked out by the Knucks that he introduces, and the Usos and LA Knight pick up the win. Yeah, I like that. That's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking with that regardless. Next match we're going to talk about is AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I can't really say too much about this match, because I feel like they're not even giving us a lot for this match. Like, from the time we saw AJ Lee standing on the announce table, Becky Lynch in the crowd, and they made this match official, we haven't really seen much from them besides that one backstage segment. So, in my eyes, I don't think AJ Lee is that invested. Like, she came back for her fans, but I truly don't believe that she really wants to be here. Like, she's not fully invested in this anymore like she used to be. This is not where her passion is anymore. So I see Becky Lynch beating AJ Lee. Obviously, she gonna cheat. It's Becky Lynch. She's a heel, but I got Becky Lynch beating AJ Lee, because it's like we're not really getting much from AJ. She's here for the match. I feel like they put the IC title on her just so they can guarantee that she beat at WrestleMania. But after that, I don't think we're going to see much of her. She might make a guest appearance every once in a blue moon, but I don't see her coming back right after this and being full-time, because she hasn't been full-time at all. So Becky Lynch gets the win, regains her Intercontinental Championship, and what happens after that, I don't know, because I don't see them redoing this again at Backlash. So I feel like that's the end of the AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch saga, and Becky walks away with her title. Next, we have the women's fatal four-way for the women's tag team titles, with the Irresistible Forces, Charlexa, Becky and Lyra, as well as the Bella Twins? Question mark. Now, I say question mark because if y'all don't know, Nikki Bella was injured some weeks back in a match in SmackDown, and they're still unclear if we're going to see Nikki Bella, I guess, and Brie Bella at this match. And I also believe that's why we haven't seen Asuka and Io Sky, who they've been teasing to have a match, have one at Mania, because I believe they're going to replace the Bella Twins because of Nikki's injury with Asuka and Kairi. Now, if they don't, like if Nikki is cleared and she can wrestle, I could see the Bella Twins having that one final moment and winning those tag titles, and solidifying their legacy as like the best women's tag team out there. But if they don't wrestle, I'm giving this to the Irresistible Forces and they retain. But we definitely got to keep a close eye on what's going on with Nikki Bella and her ankle, because at one point she thought she broke it. But they're saying, because I think she was on Angie Martinez's YouTube channel, and they were doing an interview when she said that it's just a sprain right now. So we're still unclear on what's going to happen. I guess we're going to find out maybe Monday, well, tonight, or on Friday for SmackDown, which I feel like that'll be too late. So I think we got to find out something tonight. But yes, the Irresistible Forces win if the Bella Twins aren't here. If the Bella Twins are cleared and Nikki Ankle is good to go, I'm giving this to the Bella Twins. Next match we're going to talk about is the one that was kind of just thrown at us, which is Seth Rollins versus the Ring General Gunther. Now, like I said, this match was kind of random. We all know that. But Gunther had nothing going on. Everybody that Seth truly had beef with, which was really Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, they both got injured, which is insane. But Seth cursed them, in my opinion. He cursed the entire Vision, but that's neither here nor there. This match, the build, they barely spoke. the build up was really Seth and Paul Heyman. They tried to tease Seth versus Brock. That didn't happen, which set up Brock versus Oba. And then we still was unsure. At one point, I thought Braun Breaker was coming back, but then it turned out to be Gunther. Gunther put Seth to sleep. And we saw Gunther in the backstage talking to Paul Heyman and letting him know that he owes him. I don't even think it's if he wins or loses. It's regardless of what happens in this match. Paul Heyman owes Gunther a favor. We had this all over again, and I wonder what that favor would be. I wonder, would it be Brock Lesnar? I don't know, but we'll see. Because it's like, imagine saying, I need a favor and I want your client's career. I mean, it's very possible, but you just never know. Anywho, I have Gunther beating Seth by way of Braun Breaker, who's allegedly cleared to wrestle, coming back and either distracting, spearing, it doesn't matter. Gunther could distract the referee, boom, Braun Breaker spears Seth. Gunther gets the win, either via his zesty pin after that powerbomb, or he puts him to sleep, which sets up Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins, which is what we should have gotten at WrestleMania at Backlash. So again, Gunther defeats Seth Rollins. We set up Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at Backlash. Next match, which I feel like they really turned it up, is Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Now, when we first started, I was like, I'm not too sure about this match. I'm not too sure about this feud because they only had Stephanie cutting promos via an interview. And Liv Morgan, she just got to come out here and talk about how she is the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time, which kind of was annoying to me. But, that's neither here nor there. But they both turned it up. Like, I have to give it to them. They made believers out of me. Like, they made this feud like the top 3 feuds that I'm interested in seeing moving into Mania, based off of their aggression, based off of Liv Morgan and how she really was talking cold cash shit to Stephanie. I guess after Stephanie made her cry in their backstage segment, which I still thought was weird because I really didn't think she said anything crazy. But Stephanie made Liv turn up. Liv made Stephanie turn up when she called her mama trash or basura. Like, I get, you don't talk about somebody's moms And once she did that, Stephanie said, I'm done with talking. So after that, Stephanie did nothing but throw hands. Stephanie attacked Liv when she was coming down the ramp during Dom's entrance and whooped her ass. We saw one of the biggest bumps that she took when I think she hit it with like a little spine buster or Alabama slammer in the backstage. And it's like she hit her head on that floor so hard, it was insane. And then on top of that, the following week, she took out both Liv and Roxanne with the head-to-head contact. Both of them had unicorn horns. This feud, they really stepped it up. They really got aggressive. One thing that I wanted to point out that I didn't see after the past couple weeks was Raquel helping Liv with Stephanie. Every time we saw Stephanie and Liv, you either saw not Raquel. Every time we seen Stephanie and Liv, you either saw Roxanne or Dirty Dom, but you did not see Raquel. Why is that? I truly believe Raquel Rodriguez is finally going to get her receipt from when Liv eliminated her in the Royal Rumble. And then also, they low-key distracted Raquel when they came out and tried to assist her in her title match against Stephanie. I think Raquel cost Liv the match either on purpose or not, and Stephanie Vaquer retains. So that's my pick. Stephanie Vaquer retains her title via assistance either on purpose or not from Raquel Rodriguez. And that could potentially set up a Raquel versus Liv match at Backlash, or maybe even a triple threat match at Backlash between the three of them. Because honestly, I feel like Raquel should have been the one to dethrone Stephanie, not Liv. And now the main event. The most underwhelming championship match that we have out of them all. And that's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton with Pat McAfee in the corner. And I guess maybe Jelly Roll in Cody's corner. The moment Randy listened to the voices and turned on Cody, he left Cody laying on the steps and he was sitting in the ring with the title. The feud was top tier. But then when you added Jelly Roll, then you added Pat McAfee, who turned out to be the voice in the actual voice on Randy's phone, you diminished this feud. You made this feud seem way less than it should be because you started adding too many pieces. You started really diluting this feud. You started really making this feud seem like this should be the opening match of the night and not the match of the night. And I feel like that pissed a lot of people off because not only is Pat McAfee a bad heel, it started to seem like Randy Orton was Pat's bodyguard. At the end, when Cody was laying on the ground, Pat was holding the title. Pat took the title on his show, on the Pat McAfee show on ESPN. He still had Cody's title, not Randy. I started to get really confused. Is this more about Pat than Randy, or is this more about Randy than Pat? Because Randy is the one that's in the title match. Randy is the one that's about to get 15? But why is Pat walking around with the title? Why is Pat holding it up at the end of the night? Why is Randy Orton protecting Pat? Why is Randy Orton still whooping on Jelly Roll? Y'all really lost me in the direction that this title match was going. But at the end of the day, this is all about who's going to win, and I'm giving Randy Orton the win because I feel like we're going to see Jelly Roll out there. Obviously, Pat going to be out there. He's on the poster. Randy has to get this dub. He has to. But those are my predictions for WrestleMania 42 Night 1 in Vegas. Make sure, again, you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you let me know what you think about my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are. And then also look out for my WrestleMania 42 Night 2 predictions that should drop right after this one. Appreciate y'all.